Welcome to this special edition of First Round KO. Welcome to Wrestling Wednesdays. Today we are going to be reviewing the results of both Monday Night Raw and Tuesday Night Smackdown, the shows after SummerSlam, all the storylines culminating and also restarting or continuing. We go into every detail of every segment from the shows. Let's get it.
Shock the system.
Welcome to the most must-hear WSEW sports podcast in history. Welcome to First Round KO. I am your host, KO, a.k.a. Howard J. Dingers, and I am joined, as always, by Mr. Connor J.D. Moore.
And you guys, though, you're going to stop at one episode on Wednesday.
If you guys aren't sick of us yet, you probably will be every Wednesday, because starting this week, Wrestling Wednesday is a thing. Yes, we will be doing Raw and SmackDown reviews every Wednesday. We're going to be uploading it as a second episode as long as we can, if we have time to do it, which we should normally be able to. We stay up late until ungodly hours, normally anyway, if we're not doing a podcast, so this works. But yeah, this is going to be hopefully this will be a weekly thing, and people are just going to have to deal with weekly or 2 episodes every Wednesday. Sorry. But you don't have to listen to both of them. Whatever. I would like you to, because they're fun. But anyway, let's get into it, because coming off the backs of SummerSlam, we have some pretty good, interesting episodes of Raw and SmackDown. So let's jump right into it. Monday Night Raw opens up, and we get Roman Reigns coming out. And when Roman Reigns is making his entrance, he stops at the top of the ramp, looks at the Universal title as if to say, like, holy crap, it's actually on Raw, and he holds it up, and Roman Reigns actually gets cheered for a little bit, and then he throws it over his shoulder and carries it like a sack of potatoes or dirty laundry and walks down the ring. And Roman is still getting quote-unquote mixed reactions. It's still a little more boos than cheers. But anyway, he went down to the ring, and he stood in the in the ring and said that because the title has been gone for so long, he wants to be a fighting champion, so he's going to be a fighting champion. He's going to do what he said he was going to do, and he wants to defend the title tonight on Raw. He wants to defend it right away, and there's one person that he has in mind to defend it, and that person is a man who has not gotten his rematch after not losing the title, and that man is Finn Balor. Now, Finn Balor comes to the ring, accepts it, shakes his hand, boom, because apparently contract signings don't actually mean anything. And Balor says he's going to take back his title tonight. And then Baron Corbin comes out, tells everyone to calm down because the match isn't going to happen. Corbin tells Balor that if he thinks he's going to be rewarded after, quote, no showing SummerSlam, then he's wrong. Like, I think it's really funny that Balor... that Corbin is acting like a 4-year-old and thinks that the Demon and Finn are two different people, because his match never happened. Balor was going to face, so Corbin was saying that Balor was going to face him tonight instead. Reigns calls Corbin a dumbass. He gets cheered, so I think they're starting to book Reigns right. We'll get to that later. Corbin tells Reigns there's only one reason that he's champion, and that's because Lesnar was more concerned with Braun Strowman. Kurt Angle then comes out with his floppy wrist. You suck. He comes out to the ramp and tells Corbin that he is getting ahead of himself. Angle makes the matches around here, and Angle books Reigns versus Balor for the title in the main event tonight. And then he tells Corbin that he has a match against this man. And Bobby Lashley comes out to no reaction because no one knows his music. So this was it was a really good start to Raw, because this is Reigns' character. Like, he's going to be a fighting champion. So I don't think it's going to be like an open challenge every week, but I can tell you that we're going to get maybe every other week, or we're going to get a lot of title defenses on Raw, and that's going to be, you can tell already that having the Universal title on Raw is already making this a better show. And that's what I've been mad about with Brock Lesnar. Hashtag mad about it. And that's what I've been excited for. I'm not excited that Roman's the champion. I'm just excited that the championship is back on Raw. And this also feels like closure with Finn Balor. Like this legitimately felt like him getting his rematch. To me, at least. And to a lot of people that I saw on the internet. Like this actually felt like Finn was getting his title shot after not getting one for 2 years. Connor, what did you think about this?
I mean, he doesn't even have to defend the title on Raw every week, but we already know we're guaranteed to get more title defenses in a quote unquote WWE, both in a calendar year sense and in a WWE year sense. So, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to have open challenges on Raw, but we're going to see more defenses. It's going to be, you're able to actually see the championship week in and week out all on Raw.
I think
which is something that both of us have been clamoring for, which both of us thought was probably, I mean, of all the other issues that Raw has had, this was the much needed shot in the arm that it needed.
I would say all the other issues that Raw has. We'll get to that. But also
Right.
I did want to throw in real quick. I think after Roman's 8th title defense, which will probably happen this year, 2018 still, they're going to say, he's already defended the title more than Brock. I guarantee it. Book it right now. It's going to be a big thing. Anyway, continue.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't take much. Technically, he already has.
Yeah.
If we're being real.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with the opening of Raw, it was great. It was good to see Balor. I don't know if this was a full closure thing. It's like, okay, you guys rematched. Now let's keep him away from the belt or whatever. Or if this is them teasing, hey, we're going to keep Balor around a lot closer to the Universal title picture than you think. And, I just think, like you mentioned, I think it just all comes down to the fact that in the first 10, 15, however long that talking segment went before the match between Corbin and Lashley, which was a decent match, but we all knew
it was a Corbin Lashley.
we all knew the end result. So I kind of halfway watched it, halfway played Supercard. And by halfway I mean like 90% played Supercard, 10% watched the match. Spoiler: Bobby Lashley won. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. It was a very match, and yes,
right.
Lashley won with a new finisher. He actually won with
that rolling power slam.
Yeah, like he had him up for kind of a power bomb, and then he flipped him over his shoulder and like did a face buster kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of interesting. I like it. I like it as a finisher better than the delayed suplex.
Yeah, I like this one a lot better too. I wonder what they're gonna call it. Probably the Dominator, because he's here to dominate.
I did hear someone call it the Dominator. I don't know if that was on the internet or if that was on TV, but
it wasn't on TV. They didn't call it anything.
No, okay.
$5 says they're gonna officially call it the Dominator.
I hope so.
No, you can already tell just in the opening of that show that Raw is going, that the main title picture, the main event picture and everything like that, and really all the subsequent feuds and all of that. It all benefits with the title back consistently on Raw, and with wrestlers who actually give a damn about the business. Mm-hmm. So I think it was very good, and and that segment opened up a whole bunch of other segments later on down in the show. I really hope that this isn't the end of Balor in the Universal title picture. I don't think it is. So it was closure in the sense of, he finally got his much-deserved rematch, but I don't think that's it for Balor. I do think he's going to be back in the Universal title picture relatively soon. Hopefully.
I wouldn't mind when Strowman finally gets it for him and Strowman.
That would feud.
I think that would be great.
My heart would combust
because they put on a really good match earlier in the year.
Oh yeah. So we'll see. But overall, I thought it was a solid opening of Raw, and if that's a microcosm, and hopefully that's a microcosm of how all the Raws will be going forward, which is the main event picture benefits. The main event picture and the entire show benefits with the title back on Raw.
I agree.
All right, so let's get to the following match after Lashley beat Corbin, which was Sasha Banks, Bayley, also known as the Boston Hug connection, also known as why didn't they just split those two up? Anyways, it was those two and Ember Moon versus the Riot Squad, aka three ladies that I have a tremendous amount of admiration for. I'm a low-key Riot Squad fan, by the way.
Yes, me too. Well, I don't like the act, but I like all three wrestlers.
The trio of babyfaces in this match dominated early despite the cohesion of the Riot Squad until Ruby Riott caught Bayley on the outside with an STO. Sasha Banks got the hot tag and went off on all three. However, Ember Moon and Bayley were taken outside. This distracted Banks to allow Riott to catch her on the top rope with the Riott kick and take the pinfall victory. Why does this feel like every six-woman tag match that's ever happened on Raw in the past calendar year?
Why does this feel like every women's tag match over the past 6 weeks?
I mean,
because it's literally the same teams.
I mean, I'm stuck to know what's happening here. This is why I think them putting those two together in the form of putting those two as in Bayley and Sasha back together was a mistake, because you could have had one really good feud there, and then you could still figure out where do you go from here?
Yeah,
that's my biggest question right now. Is like Ember Moon has been relatively directionless since her call up, which is just a shame because I love Ember Moon. The Riot Squad, are they really just gonna? I liked them better when they were running rampant over the entire division, and then of course that's when Ruby Riott got hurt. But
true,
where do you go from here now? Unless you're trying to establish or tease that there's going to be a women's tag team championship.
That has to be where this goes, right? It has to be.
That's the only way, because are you really just going to have just watered down singles matches the entire time between insert member of the Riot Squad here versus Bayley or Sasha or Ember Moon? Yeah. You need more direction, and there's other women on the Raw roster, which we'll get to later.
Yes.
But this is going to be a dead end feud. I don't even know what the feud is at this point.
Yeah, I like all 6 women. They're fantastic wrestlers. They're all fantastic performers. But this has been the same Monday Night Raw match for the past 6 weeks, and it's really all just building towards a Raw division or a Raw tag team division for the women. I really think so. If it's not, it's been pointless. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, then Ember Moon technically needs a partner.
Oh, I'm sure they'll find Nikki Cross. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, right.
No, I think you still need to keep her with it.
That just got me really excited. But anyway, so before that match, there was actually a backstage segment with Paul Heyman, and he went into Kurt Angle's office. Heyman said that Lesnar wants to invoke his rematch clause, but Angle says that Lesnar's contract, while it does say that there is a rematch, the rematch does not have a specified date. Angle says right now he has a fighting champion, and Lesnar will not get his rematch for a very, very, very long time. I like that a lot. Because I really do think that they're going to hold Lesnar off of TV. Like, he was scheduled for Raw, but he was not there.
He was, yeah.
So I kind of like that. So I hope they hold him off, and he can be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. Backstage, before the match still, Corbin yelled at Angle. This is when Heyman left. Corbin came in and yelled at Angle for not giving him what he wants. Angle said that... Angle says that he is still the general manager and he does what is best for business. No, he didn't say best for business. He said best for the WWE Universe, not Corbin. Corbin says he's going to talk to Stephanie because she is here tonight. Ooh. All right. Anyway, after that match, we got an in-ring segment with Triple H. Triple H came out to loud NXT chants. And Triple H says that NXT blew the roof off the building the past weekend, and then he says, SummerSlam was cool too. He didn't actually say that. He did kind of blew by it, but he didn't actually say it like that. He says that just like the rest of us, he is a wrestling fan, and after this weekend, after these big weekends, he always he gets the itch. He always gets the feeling that he wants to take off his suit and put on the boots. He wants to come back and wrestle. And he said when Vince called him to ask him to wrestle again, he said hell yeah. When Vince said that it would be against The Undertaker, Triple H said hell no. Why? Because of what happened at the end of the Hell in a Cell match against Taker. It was supposed to be an end of an era. That moment was about as real as it gets. The moment changed all three of them. After that happened, HBK left. HBK had already retired before that. The streak is dead, and The Undertaker left his hat and boots in the ring, which he didn't do that until a couple years later. And Triple H said that he left too. He put the suit on, which he has wrestled at every WrestleMania since then. Whatever. That's me being nitpicky. Everything has changed. Triple H says he doesn't want to sound like a bitter veteran, but his era was pretty damn special. He's right. As a matter of respect, he called Vince back and told him that he's in. Triple H is going to lace up his boots and be the game again. That's if The Undertaker will pick up his hat and put his gloves back on and be the Phenom. I added all my thoughts into that while I was reading that. This promo was very good to build the match. It was not factual whatsoever. It didn't make a lot of sense because Triple H was like, I don't want this match because it was end of an era, but I'll do it anyway. Yeah, but like I said, Triple H is always a great promo. This actually makes me excited for the Supercard match because they're actually putting at least some sort of storyline into it. So I'm excited. It's Triple H Taker. How can you not be excited?
Did they really have to do this in the end of August? They couldn't start the build next month. I mean, it's literally a week away. I mean, credit to them, but I just feel like it's going to be very, very boring, the build up to it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's still going to be exciting because it's Triple H and Undertaker, and all these youngins can learn what you and I have known for a while. But that's besides the point. That's beside the point. The point is here. I mean, I already knew they were going to start building this like crazy because they teased the Super Show and this one match in general like a madman during SummerSlam, which is okay, especially since they've been adding new matches left and right now. But did you really need to start the build this early?
Nope.
I just feel like it was just an advantage to just get a big pop, have Triple H out there, and that was it.
Yeah, I think it was more because of the Brooklyn crowd.
This better not be a running theme leading up to Super Show, because the same exact. I would have been much more okay had they start the build to Evolution this early, because that is. Even though the Super Show is a big show, Evolution is the bigger show of the two. It's a history-making show. I would much rather them start programs going towards that, but I don't know. I'm not for starting this almost 2.5 month long promo segment promoting this show that's happening at the end of October. I'm not down with it. I'm not, but I was glad to see I'm glad to see the game back on TV, who apparently forgot that, and apparently everyone forgot that they've booed him out the building the past couple years. So, guess he's a face again for now, whatever he is. Anyways, Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose followed. In his return to in-ring action, Dean Ambrose pushed around Dolph Ziggler with his increased power until a distraction outside allowed the show-off to dropkick him off the apron to the floor. But the Lunatic Fringe showed off an impressive new repertoire to get back into the action. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins fought outside with Ziggler helping. The Architect retaliated with a suicide dive to the Scot that set up Ambrose to reverse a DDT into Dirty Deeds for the win. I was a big fan of seeing all the new skills that Ambrose added, so we definitely know that apart from him hitting the gym, he's added a few new things, to his repertoire, and I think that just makes him much more entertaining to watch. I don't think he was ever boring to watch, but I mean now I like this new Dean Ambrose is what I'm saying. Yes. Is what I'm saying here. I really do like this new Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, me too. And it's not so much what he added as far as his in-ring skills and his in-ring work, it's what he took away. He took away a lot of his swinging arms, his goofiness. He doesn't do the lunatic lariat because that looks he is a much more serious wrestler because he has a much more serious guy now. Like, his character's a lot more serious, and I like that a lot. I think the serious, threatening lunatic is going to be a better character than the lunatic Fringe was. That pop-up, or not the pop-up, but the counter into the Dirty Deeds was beautiful. It was, Dolph was doing his, high DDT spot where he goes up and then he fall. Everyone knows the spot. But Dean did that. He held him up there, kind of threw him up, and caught him right into the Dirty Deeds. It was perfect. I like them a lot. So after the match, we see Braun Strowman go backstage and find Finn Balor and tells him good luck and that he's going to cash in tonight. And then we see Elias in ring. Elias plays his guitar solo, says everyone there who is trying, says someone who is there is trying to sabotage him. Elias starts to play, and who comes out but none other than Curt Hawkins. Hawkins challenges Elias to a match so that Hawkins can finally end his 218 losing streak. He's 0-2 at 18. Holy crap. That's awesome. It's a good gimmick. I'm really behind the gimmick. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Elias calls Hawkins a loser and tells him to get the hell out. Hawkins starts walking away, but he then storms back down to the ring and challenges Elias again. And now Hawkins, so then they make the match official. Ref comes out. Hawkins right away tries a roll up on Elias, which was a near fall. It was like a 2 count, and it actually, it got me. Like, I thought he was going to win for a second, but no, Elias kicked out, and then Elias just destroyed Hawkins. He hit him with a brutal jumping knee to the jaw. It looked brutal, and then Elias he basically just hit a couple other moves. Hawkins hit another roll-up, Elias kicked out, and then Elias hit him with another high knee, and then the drift away for the win. This is good. Because Elias was kind of playing over the mystery of who broke his guitar, so I hope that kind of becomes a big thing until we eventually find out that it was The Rock. And then, yes, I'm serious about that. I think that's what's going to happen towards WrestleMania season. And I really hope that Curt Hawkins becomes a normal thing on Monday Night Raw, because if they could really play up this losing streak thing on Raw, make it a big deal, because A, it gets someone else over and gives them momentum, gives them a win, and B, it gets Curt Hawkins over, and eventually when you decide to give him that win, it's going to be a huge moment if you play it right. So I really hope this becomes a normal thing on Raw where he just challenges random people, because I could get behind this a lot.
I'm going to hope it's just a program between these two, because I do not want it to lead up to a whole up to WrestleMania build between Elias and The Rock. I mean, it would. I don't think you would.
I'm not saying it would be a match. It would be like a musical segment.
I mean, either way,
yeah.
I don't know, but I'm glad to see that Curt Hawkins finally go on TV. Which, by the way, when his music hit, I had no idea it was him until he showed up.
I know. I forgot. I heard the music. And I was like, I know this music. Who is it? And then I saw him.
I didn't know who it was at all. So it just goes to show that he's just always in the ring when it comes back from commercial. And I miss his old theme a lot better.
True.
But with that being said, that's what this segment did for me.
That's fair.
I'm glad Hawkins is on TV, and I want him to get that win, because I want to watch that moment and I want to laugh his
right, exactly.
But that segment got an overwhelming meh from me. Moving on, the Authors of Pain versus Titus Worldwide. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The Authors of Pain versus Titus Worldwide.
Before in the backstage segment for this, Apollo Crews and Dana Brooke were kind of like whispering to each other without Titus, so they're planting the seeds for something there. I hope that Apollo gets a singles push.
Me too. I was thinking it was going to be more like a relationship branch off thing, but
right,
that'll be Akko Taco.
Yeah, and Dana would be the mouthpiece for Apollo, which I think would work out. I think that would work really well. Anyway, sorry.
I would love that, because I love both. Anyways, Apollo Crews got a strong hot tag from Titus O'Neil and went off, showing his athleticism. However, he could not keep up with the stronger, cohesive duo as the Authors of Pain hit him with the last chapter to take the win. How much longer are they just going to keep the Authors of Pain floating in no man's land?
I really hope that this is a turning of the chapter.
I really hope that this is the
yeah.
end of this damn chapter. Because I'm getting sick and tired of seeing Titus Worldwide and Authors of Pain every week.
I said this before, and I'll say it again. I think this B team thing is going to result in Authors of Pain squash match for the titles. But two real quick things about this match. I'm glad that the Authors of Pain squashed because that looks good for them. That gives me a hope for the future. And the spot was Razor kicks out of a near fall from Apollo Crews, and he kicked out so hard that Crews stood up, like he landed on his feet from the kick out, and then immediately, like it was seamless from the kick out, immediately hit a shooting star press. It was perfect. One of the best spots I've seen in a long time. Apollo Crews is an amazing athlete. Yeah, so the next we had an in-ring segment, and good God, I hated this. Stephanie McMahon was in the ring with the Raw Women's Championship, and the ring was surrounded by the entire Raw division. And I say entire Raw division, and it was like 6 people plus the Bella Twins. It was weak. I'm not going to lie to you. Stephanie says she's proud of all the women. She puts over the Evolution pay-per-view and the Women's Championship match from last night. Stephanie says that without her presence, Ronda Rousey wouldn't be what she is today. Stephanie says she molded Rousey in her image. She says that all the women in the ring want to be like Stephanie and Ronda. Stephanie announces that Ronda is her protege, and then Rowdy Ronda Rousey comes out. Rousey joins Stephanie in the ring. Ronda asks Stephanie what she's doing. Ronda wants to know why all the women are outside of the ring instead of, in the ring or on the apron. She says that Stephanie's putting the other women below her. She's saying she's putting herself above the other women. The rest of the women get up on the apron. Stephanie says that she doesn't know how a champion acts, as in Ronda doesn't know how to act as a champion. Ronda puts over some of the women on the apron, mostly Natalya, because apparently Natalya is the most important thing in the world.
Well,
I know. Whatever.
It was the Anvil.
I know.
It's because they're paying homage to her.
Right, which is why in the triple threat match at SummerSlam, they were all wearing pink. So I thought that was pretty cool. Where was I? Stephanie cuts off Ronda and reminds Rousey what she did to Alexa last night, which was basically break her arm. Stephanie says that Ronda wants to do that to every woman in the division and that all the women should be scared. But Ronda says that she isn't there to break everyone's arms, only the people who deserves it. And then she slams Stephanie down to the mat, puts her in an arm lock, quote unquote, breaks her arm. And then the heels attend to Stephanie. This is good. I did like that they kept storyline with this. The heels attended to Stephanie and her broken arm, and then the faces joined up with Rousey and celebrated. I didn't like this at all, because if they're trying to make, at some point when you make the Raw Women's division feel special too much, it's not going to be special anymore. Plus, if you did this, you don't do this with the men. Like, we didn't do this with Roman Reigns. With the with the men all standing around the ring. They didn't do that. If you don't do it for the men, you shouldn't, they got to start creating or making these two rosters equal. That's all I'm going to say about this. This was bad.
This was stupid.
Yeah.
In the form of, what was the point of it?
Yep.
Not
much else to say
about it. How much more are we gonna have Ronda and Stephanie go at it? She already technically broke her arm at WrestleMania. I'll tell you what I don't like is the fact that they keep on throwing the Bella Twins, specifically Nikki, around because of the supposed rumored feud.
Yeah.
Supposed rumored main event for Evolution is Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella, and that might be the one Ronda Rousey match in WWE that I don't watch, because
I'll probably,
even though I am a fan of the Bellas, but really, out of the entire roster, Nikki Bella, there's no one else. But
dream matches, man. I know. I know.
Yeah, a dream match for them because of pop culture. That's all it is.
It's supposed to be. I know.
It's a monumental pay-per-view, and you're gonna make the main event a pop culture grab.
I I agree with the match. I don't think it should be in main event. But anyway.
Shouldn't. But moving on.
2 matches next. You can take them both.
Oh.
Because it's basically all one segment.
It was. The B team dedicated its future singles win to Brooklyn. However, Bo Dallas did not seem ready to fight Scott Dawson, who dominated the contest before winning with a cradle DDT. Curtis Axel immediately asked for a match with Dash Wilder, but he also got beaten easily with a gory bomb. The real tag team champs are in here. It's not the B team, but I've already explained all of this in the SummerSlam recap podcast, which go listen to if you want to know what I did say. But yeah, again, this was
it was good because, well, I shouldn't say it was good. It was bad, but I enjoyed.
Yeah, the crowd wasn't even into it. They did the wave.
Crowd hated it, and the only reason I liked it was because the Revival looked good, and they look good in singles competition. Like, they're just good wrestlers. But then after the match, B team were like, yeah, but we're still tag team. You can beat us singly, you can beat us individually, but you can't beat us as a team. And then their music started playing, and they were celebrating, and I was like, what? Y'all just both got your asses kicked. Don't even whatever. I was very upset. Backstage, Renee asked Reigns if he has any reservations about defending the championship tonight. Reigns says that this is his yard because he's the big dog. And he is going to defend his title no matter what. Backstage, Stephanie and Corbin yell at Kurt Angle. Everything that just happened was Angle's fault, according to them. And Stephanie says that Angle is tired and needs a vacation because he hasn't been doing the best job as GM lately. Stephanie says it's not permanent, but Baron Corbin, Constable Baron Corbin, is now acting general manager. So when this segment initially happened, my first initial thought was Corbin's going to cancel the main event, which would have made a lot of sense in storyline sense. But for some reason that's not where this led. But I'm actually excited for this because I think Corbin as general manager could be very entertaining. Kurt Angle is very meh. He's very not great. So I don't know. I think this will be a fresh change of pace, and I think Corbin will be entertaining. I like the Constable gimmick, and Corbin's been entertaining, so I like this.
Incoming Triple H Kurt Angle match at WrestleMania.
Oh, good call. I didn't even think of that.
This is the one.
Even though they just did the mixed tag match, but still, I can still see it.
It's coming. This is the only payoff for it. Otherwise, this is going to be very, very dumb.
Yeah.
I would take not even a Corbin Angle match would be good enough to pay this one off.
Ooh, Corbin versus Angle at Survivor Series for control of Monday Night Raw, or even at Hell in a Cell.
Anyway. Corbin's going to put himself in the Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series traditional tag team.
True. Anyway.
Moving on. Universal Champion Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor, which, by the way, I was also kind of laughing about this too on Twitter. You like how he brought out the demon gimmick against lowly old Baron Corbin, but in a Universal Championship match, nah.
My favorite excuse that I saw on Twitter was that it has a 48-hour recharge period.
That's what I saw too.
But anyway,
one tweet that I saw was like, how is Balor going to summon the demon against the Constable, but 24 hours later can't summon it for a guy who has the power level of 2.5 John Cena's? I was just like, well,
it's over 9,000.
I was like, true, but don't rip on my boy Finn. Anyway. Reigns and Balor went after each other viciously. The big dog dominated early on, but the extraordinary man who does extraordinary things took over after a drop kick to the floor, followed by a somersault plancha. Potato. The two traded signature moves and refused to stay down. The champion caught Balor mid drop kick attempt with a Superman punch. The Irishman blocked a spear with a knee, only to have Reigns roll through into another Superman punch. Braun Strowman arrived as the big dog set up a spear, and Balor almost capitalized. Reigns dodged a coup de grace, though, and hit the spear. Afterwards, Strowman tried to cash in the Money in the Bank contract, only to have Ambrose and Rollins arrive in Shield gear to save Rollins. Together, they triple powerbomb the Monster Among Men through the announce table. It should be mentioned that the bell did not technically ring, so Braun still has the briefcase. At first, my emotions were super happy because the Shield came back.
Yes.
And then it went to super confused because I was just like, but why?
Yep.
And now I'm somewhere of just like, I don't know. I'm just like, at least we have the Shield, but I'm wondering what the point of it is. I don't know if they're supposed to be the heavy for Roman Reigns while he's a champion, because if that's the case, that kind of takes away the whole fighting champion thing. But
True.
now I'm also thinking this is only just a ploy for Super Show because they did announce the Shield is going to be there. So I'm wondering if this is just for now, for the rest of 2018, a one-off until the Super Show. They're going to run the whole Shield gimmick until Super Show, and then they're going to do their own thing because Rollins has an Intercontinental Championship, Reigns has the Universal, and Ambrose is turning heel eventually. So
to me, this is them basically continuing the storyline that they couldn't tell last year. So I'm okay with it.
The storyline being
the Shield, because
right.
The plans
that
last
was
year
cut abruptly,
right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't get their TLC match because Roman got sick, and then Dean got injured before he could turn heel. So I really do think that they're this is like for the most part, this is only to get Roman cheered and get him over, but I think this is going to continue the storyline and eventually lead to a Dean Ambrose heel turn, and then Seth Rollins versus Dean, probably at Mania. I hope.
So, like, why now? Why now? I don't know if they're just trying to set this up for the Braun Strowman cash in and the eventual coronation to be something massive.
Yeah,
that's where the confusion comes in. Don't get me wrong.
Because
I love the Shield, but after it was, I was just like, "Holy crap, the Shield's back! That was awesome!"
It was awesome, but then you think about it, and you're like, "Oh, this is
the point." Yeah, I was like, "This isn't right."
The Strowman character that they've been telling the story of is he wants to be champion, and he's going to do it as soon as possible. So they almost have to, and I hope they do this, but at the same time, I don't want them to because they're not going to be able to do it right. But I hope that they have him like attempt to cash in every week. Honestly, because that has to be his character. Like, if he's there and the champion is there, he needs to be attempting to cash in, because that's the story that they've told. I fear that they won't be able to be creative enough to come up with different ways to stop him from cashing in. But anyway,
now that the Shield's back, they got to start building to their appearance at Super Show, and what's the build going to be there? That's what I'm saying. There wasn't really necessarily a need for a Shield reunion, which makes it seem out of left field, which then makes the build to Super Show even more out of left field.
Oh yeah.
So I'm okay with the Shield being at the Super Show, but they should have announced that like in September with a match with some correlating match, not some out of left field. Braun's about to cash in. Oh, by the way, here comes the Shield, which technically are doing heel things, but it's the Shield, so everyone gets away with it. Because everyone loves all of them respective. Well, they love two and quote unquote mixed reactions on one, but I don't know.
Yeah, because Supercard is basically going to be that pay per view for the month because
Supercard's the app.
Super Show, whatever. Yeah, that's going to be the pay per view that month because of the the Evolution pay per view. So they have to get in their big matches there. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this Monday Night Raw, even though it was kind of weak. Like from an objective standpoint, it was not a great episode, but in the moment, I really enjoyed most of the segments, and it felt like it flew by to me. I thought it was a good episode. In hindsight, it wasn't great, but I thought it was good.
No, you said it pretty much perfectly. Like in the moment, actually watching it, it was just like there's feelings that I had watching that Raw that I hadn't had watching Raw in the last few weeks, actually. And honestly, if you take out the universe, if the belt wasn't on TV this week, and you still did things relatively similar to how they did on Raw, I would not have cared. But I cared more
because that match felt big. Yeah,
right. but I cared more just because the belt was right there
Yes.
in plain view and actually being utilized. So,
Yeah.
again, it's a miracle what happens when the crown jewel is back actually on TV week in and week out.
All right. On to the better show. On to the better brand, I should say. I've always been a big SmackDown guy. So the SmackDown opened up with Miz and Maurice coming out, and they came into the ring, and they didn't say a word. They sat there, and all of a sudden you could tell that they were visually upset. They were sad, and blah blah blah. And then Miz says, with a heavy heart, "I have to announce that I am retiring from ever facing Daniel Bryan again." This was perfect because it was playing off of Daniel Bryan's retirement. It was great. And then he's like, "I don't have to fight him anymore. I punched him in the face like he wanted to do to me, but my punch was so great that it defeated him. I have the best punch in the world." I definitely thought Big Show was coming out when he said that.
I thought One Punch Man himself was about to show up.
I thought he was about to catch a WMD. But anyway, he said that his punch is so good that it just knocked him out. Blah blah blah, whatever. And then he plugged Miz and Mirrors. I'm gonna call it Miz and Mirrors from now on because B Team is fantastic.
Look what you've done, Bo Dallas.
I love it. Brian comes out, and he walks out to the ramp, and he calls. Miz kept trying to say stuff to Daniel, and Daniel kept interrupting him, just yelling "coward." It was perfect. Coward, because he kept calling him coward on Talking Smack. He did, coward, and now he actually can because he can wrestle. Miz kept trying to speak. He kept trying to call him coward. Miz stands behind Maurice and tells Bryan that the record books will not say coward. They will say Miz beat Bryan at SummerSlam. Miz says that Bryan will never have another chance to go up against him. Bryan tells Miz to shut up, and Bryan says that he cheated to win, just another layer in the facade that is the Miz. Bryan says that he is going to expose Miz for the facade, maybe. Yeah,
Facade.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Whatever. Bryan says he's going to expose Miz for the wannabe Hollywood actor cosplaying as a wrestler. Maurice grabs the mic and says Bryan needs to retire and change his name to Daniel Bella. Ooh.
Notice how the crowd chanted Daniel Bella.
Did they actually? That's amazing.
They did.
I
missed. Wow.
I must have missed that line. And then Brie mode. I hate that.
Worst.
Yeah, I don't like that song.
Actually, no.
Why not It's
pretty bad.
But that works because she's a heel anyway. Brie runs down to the ring. Maurice rolls out of the ring. Miz steps in front of Brie to like stop her from going to Maurice, and Brie just punches Miz like 6 times. It was beautiful.
Oh,
and
that first right hook was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it was great. Like it was a big old right hook to the face. And then Bryan hit Miz out of the ring. And then Bryan tells Miz that at Hell in a Cell, it will be Miz and Maurice taking on Bryan and Brie in a mixed tag match. Now this is where my fears come in. I said it on our SummerSlam preview or reactions on Monday's episode that I fear that they are going to run this feud into the ground. Now I still have hope. Actually, now I can't even because now tonight they announced, the Super Show match.
Okay, you were excited when I told you about the Super Show.
Now, but I'm thinking about it. They're going to do, well, not all 3, because they can do Miz. Brie and Maurice can finish that match, and then they can do Brie and Maurice at Evolution. Okay, I'll just say this is my fear that they're going to kill the feud before Mania. I want this to culminate at WrestleMania. I can't talk tonight. I want this to end up being a WrestleMania match, which they still can do, especially because they said the Super Show match was a future title opportunity, like a number 1 contenders match between Miz and Bryan. So I'm hoping Miz wins that, Miz wins the title, and then boom, they can have their WrestleMania match after Bryan wins the Royal Rumble. But anyway, overall, this was a really good episode or good way to open the episode. Miz and Maurice are fantastic. They're really good heels. I'm not excited about the mixed tag match. If the Cena Nikki match was any indication at WrestleMania, because Bryan can't propose because they're already married. But anyway,
I enjoyed it because I can see where your fears come into play, but it's technically not a one-on-one thing, and you know there's going to be outside interference. So technically,
That's fair.
chapter two is going to be Super Show, and Daniel Bryan beats them. You know, there'll probably be some stipulation and everything like that, where there's no outside interference. The Miz will somehow, he'll be the crooked little heel, the crafty little heel.
Oh, but
He'll
then
be
Miz
he'll
goes up
he'll
2-0 then.
yes, yes, but still he goes
I
up.
know
He
what you
go
mean.
technically the first one Bryan got screwed. The
Right.
the second one they're probably gonna screw him again because they're not gonna have the Miz go over him clean because that's gonna you want to know how to
That would
kill the
kill the feud,
feud?
yeah.
Have Miz beat Bryan clean. That's gonna kill the feud. So then you have Miz talking crap about how he earned the WWE Championship before Bryan, and Bryan will never amount to anything. His little Cinderella run isn't gonna
Yeah.
happen. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And then that falls into your theory. Bryan wins the Royal Rumble, and then it still culminates in the Mania. Miz gets to quote unquote headline WrestleMania, and Bryan
Ooh.
wins.
I'm just picturing Miz in the WWE Championship, and I really like it. Anyway,
And we're probably going to see shades of Mania 30 because I guarantee you Joe will
yes,
most likely still be in the
they
picture.
won't do a triple. No, it needs to be one on
I
one.
that I would prefer it to be one-on-one, but they need to find something to do with Joe. But
Him
they
and
get
AJ, whatever.
they get a whole host of people back eventually. So
After that segment backstage, Miz told Paige that she is a worse general manager than Daniel Bryan was, and then Paige tells Miz that the tag match is still on, and it will be awesome. Anyway, next match.
all right. After weeks of escalating tensions and brutal beatdowns, Jeff Hardy finally got his hands on Randy Orton in singles competition days after losing a United States Championship match to Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam. Which, by the way, the hell are they going to do with Shinsuke now? Anyways,
Yeah.
Orton took advantage of a slip up that saw Hardy fall off the top rope and back first to the steel steps below. The Viper controlled the match coming out of the break, but Hardy created separation, starting his comeback attempt. A forearm by Hardy and a double leg drop to the midsection had him rolling. A twist of fate followed, and he scaled the ropes for his swanton bomb finisher. The lower back was problematic, though, slowing him down and allowing Orton to catch him up top. Replaying his initial assault on Hardy, Orton grabbed Hardy's ear. The charismatic Enigma delivered a low blow, drawing his qualification.
Quote unquote low blow.
He threw Orton to the ringside over the announce table and into the crowd. The two brawled until Hardy scaled an anvil case and delivered the swanton bomb onto Orton and through a table. Well, I like how they had Hardy laugh at the end of all of that. So, I mean, we were robbed of Woken Matt Hardy due to injury, so I think they're going to unleash Brother Nero here. So that's
Yeah.
probably
Did you see the crowd when he started beating Randy up? The crowd, the entire crowd was delete.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
So I think we're going to start to see the rise of Brother Nero. And I also like how we have yet to see Orton hit anyone, mostly Jeff Hardy, because that's who he's targeted since he came back. We've yet to see the RKO yet, and I like how they're building that. So when he finally does hit the RKO, it's going to be something crazy.
I think
and the RKO is not a gimmick anymore, which I'm so glad. Which they ran that meme and the gimmick dead to the water. Right. Honestly,
they did. I think this builds to a tables match at Hell in a Cell. I think that's what they set it up as. And then that's when we can see maybe an RKO through a table off of the top rope or something like that.
Super RKO.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, either way, they'll have some sort of extreme match at Hell in a Cell, and I'm excited for it because they are two pretty good wrestlers, especially in Extreme Rules matches. The next match was Naomi versus Peyton Royce with Billie Kay, and I hate how they build women's feuds because they're all based around being friends with people. and it kills me. And this goes back to my thing about they don't do this with the men, but they do it with they literally think about the last couple feuds. The Nia Jax Ronda Rousey feud was, I'm better friends with with Natalya, and then freaking the SmackDown thing right now, Becky and Charlotte. Oh, we're really good friends. Oh, now we're not because you screwed me over. Obviously, Sasha and Bayley, don't have to go into that. And now they're doing this thing with Naomi. Oh, I have to defend my friends because now Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are saying that they're the only best friends left in WWE now that Becky and Charlotte aren't friends anymore. Like all of the feuds are built around being it makes me really mad.
Friendship.
Sorry, rant over. This match started during a break. Naomi hit a leg, but this was a very basic match. With it saw Peyton Royce win after Billie Kay interference, which should happen because numbers and heels, that should always happen. But yeah, nothing special really. I will say I'm a big fan of the Iconics. I really like Peyton Royce, and a lot of people get on them for their pre-match promos that they cut where they make fun of people and they're really annoying. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. It's great heel work, and to me it's funny. Like obviously the whole point of it is that it's not funny, but that's what makes it funny. I know that's confusing, but whatever. Yeah, what did you think of that?
I like how Corey Graves took a shot at Dave Meltzer when
I heard that too. That was perfect. Peyton Royce has never looked better.
Yeah, he said both of them never look better. And I like how basically the entire weekend everyone just took subtle shots. And even in Meltzer's apology tweet, he completely missed a point, but whatever.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
Whatever.
I mean, he's once an idiot, always an idiot.
But
once a sexist, always a sexist. But
true. Real quick, after that match backstage, Big E tells Kofi and Woods that his ribs are real bad and not the ribs that he was eating either, his actual ribs. Woods and Kingston try to hype Big E, but Big E is busy eating his ribs. So that was basically them setting up Kofi and Xavier are going to be out there alone for their title match later on, and Big E will not be ringside with them because his ribs are injured. All right.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they already had him fight in SummerSlam. So
exactly.
Overall, the Naomi Peyton Royce match, yeah, no, it was a match
setting up the tag division,
and Royce won. And I also love the Iconics, and yeah. Anyways, Becky Lynch addressed her SummerSlam actions, and I got a lot of answers on this one, actually.
Yeah.
I got a lot of the answers that I thought that I had at the end of our SummerSlam recap show. But Here we go. On the heels of an attack on Charlotte Flair that left announcers speechless, the new women's champion in tears and the fans applauding her actions, Becky Lynch walked to the ring with a stern look painting her face. Lynch said she should be standing in the ring, the current women's champion. SummerSlam should have been about her, not Roman Reigns, Ronda Rousey, or Seth Rollins. Her shot at glory, the shot she earned, was robbed from her because Charlotte was added to the match. It was her opportunity to prove she's a top star. Lynch asked the fans if they were behind her the whole time and questioned how upset they really were when she didn't win, citing the reaction they gave Charlotte. The last kicker said she had become an afterthought and she decided to take action. Lynch said she would become champion, prove she's the best, not because any fan said she was, but because no other woman on the roster can prove her wrong. Flair interrupted and rushed the ring, taking Lynch down to the mat and unloading with a series of right hands. Lynch reversed the brawl in her favor, much to the delight to the fans. The fight spilled to the arena floor, where Lynch tried to escape. Charlotte grabbed her and pulled her back to the ringside area. General Manager Paige dispatched referees, followed by the women's superstars, which was funny because Asuka showed up, because I was just like, wow, that's the most use they've got out of Asuka for the last month.
I literally was like, oh, Asuka.
Same. I was just like, oh, she lives. Yeah. But anyways, followed by the women superstars, all eager to separate the former friends. The fight continued back to the floor, where Charlotte launched herself onto Lynch. The pull-apart continued into break. This would have been so much better had it been Sasha and Bayley, but that's
right.
But that's besides the point. The point is here, I guess they really are committed to making Becky Lynch the heel here.
She's actually heel. Like it upset me because
she's actually the heel,
like,
and
yeah.
the fans aren't gonna let her be a heel,
No.
but she is actually a heel.
Yeah.
And I don't like this. I don't like heel Becky.
She literally came out and did everything that I said she wasn't going to do. I said that she wasn't going to shit on the hometowns, and she really did. Like,
oh yeah, she
and she shit on the fans. Like she was like, you guys haven't been been with me through the ups and downs.
Which was funny because they definitely have.
They definitely have been. And they were like, well, and she was like, oh, well, you cheered when Charlotte won yesterday, and I'm like, go back and watch that because they booed her.
It was funny when she was like, "Were you guys really with me?" She's like, "They're like you all," and then she was just like, "You guys weren't with me at all." And then everyone was like, "No."
She's
no.
like, "But were you really with me?" And they're like, "Yeah."
And then she's like, and they're like, "You all loved her," and then all of them were like, "No." I was like laughing. I was like, "Wow, Brooklyn." I was like, "Brooklyn, you are great. You are on one this weekend."
I'm upset that they're actually making her legit heel, but at the same time, I don't really care because Becky Lynch is great, and I'm going to like her anyway.
They know the reactions they're going to get out of Becky, so I mean, my best. Literally, I'm going to say the same exact thing I said on Sunday. I'm going to hope they pull a Nia Jax. They turn her, then forget they turned her, and then all of a sudden she's a face again.
Yep. And next, we had a very confusing segment, and I'll go through it quickly, and I don't have much to say about it. We had a rematch of the pre-show, and it's Rusev and Lana versus Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. And really, this match came down to the heels trying to cheat and the faces overcoming the cheating. And towards the end of the match, Andrade grabbed a chair while the women were distracting Rusev, and he tried to run into the ring with the chair. And Aiden English came out of the crowd, grabbed the chair so that Andrade couldn't use it, and then Rusev hit the Machka kick, and then made him tap out with the Accolade. And then Aiden English, instead of going into the ring to celebrate with Rusev, he went up on the ramp and was like, "Hey man, I said I always got your back. I got you." And Rusev was like pointing at him like, "Thanks man, you're great." And Lana looked a little confused. I don't know if she was supposed to or not. But this was just a confusing segment because it literally, there was not a single tease of anyone turning on anyone. Yet. I agree. But like, I don't know. It's weird because the whole point of the storyline is that Aiden has been costing Rusev matches. So now he's not costing him matches.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it works. You screw up and then you finally pay him off. But...
yeah, I guess. Yeah, like I said, I don't have too much to say about it. It confused me, but we'll see. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I need to go to sleep. Yeah, I think eventually this will pay off. But anyway.
Renee Young hosted a stage-side interview with WWE Champion AJ Styles just days after he let his anger get the best of him and got disqualified in his title defense against Samoa Joe. Styles apologized for breaking a promise he made prior to Sunday's match and promised to rip out Joe's heart if he says his wife's name again. Joe attacked, leaving Styles lying after the Coquina clutch. He taunted Wendy again and stood tall to end the brief segment.
He said, "Sorry that AJ can't come in to tuck your child in because Daddy already went to sleep." God, I love Samoa Joe.
There's really not much more I can say about these two. I love them. I love this feud. Fight forever. The end. That's my thoughts.
This is a great blood feud, and I can't wait. So then we come on to the main event of SmackDown. It was a no disqualification SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. No rules, no tags. This was an actual tornado tag, which I'm really glad they did because they've done a couple times in the past where they've done no disqualification tag team matches, but they still have them tag in and out. It made no sense.
Yeah, and it was also leaked before SmackDown that one of the Bludgeon Brothers was injured.
Yep, Rowan. So, yeah, Rowan.
It was Rowan.
Yeah, because it's not Eric Rowan anymore. But it was confirmed that he injured his arm yesterday.
I think a torn bicep thing.
Or not yesterday, but yeah. Sunday. So as soon as I saw that he hurt himself, they got a tag title match, and it was no disqualification. I was like, easy, they're New Day are winning. So spoiler alert, New Day won. It was a really good match, actually, too, and it got like a half hour worth of time. There were a lot of big spots. Kofi got the big, I don't know what the hell they even call it, but it's basically a power bomb. They hold Kofi up by his arms and power bomb him, but they had a chair propped up on, or a ladder propped up on 2 chairs, and they did that power bomb onto the chair. Kofi kicked out of that. There was so many big moves. The end of the match saw Kofi hit Trouble in Paradise on Harper, and then he put Harper up on a table. Woods hit the Limit Breaker elbow through the table for the pin. 1, 2, 3. 5-time champions, the New Day. This was great because obviously it sucks that the Bludgeon Brothers got hurt, but this is okay because the New Day are fantastic. And now next week you get Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows versus the Bar for the #1 contendership match, and either one of those teams will put on a good match with the New Day. So good way to end SmackDown. I really enjoyed it. I knew, especially once I saw that it was going on as the main event, I knew they were winning. But either way, fantastic match. All of these guys are good wrestlers.
New Day can't put together a bad match even if they tried. I'm glad that they reintroduced Gallows and Anderson. It'll be interesting to see what direction they go with next week with the Bar and what used to be known as the Club. And notice how they're kind of just giving the Usos a break here, which is fair.
Which is fine.
Which is completely fine. I mean, we're so used to just seeing New Day, Uso, New Day, Usos, New Day, Usos. So I like this. I wouldn't
mind if they did like an Uso sanity thing to kind of put sanity over. But
I think that's where we might be headed.
Yeah, that'd be fine by me.
But overall,
yeah.
I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was really good, and like I said, the New Day cannot have a bad match even if they tried.
Overall, what did you think of SmackDown?
I mean, I like that it was. I always like how SmackDown's shorter.
I always love that. Yeah.
Overall, I thought it was, again, SmackDown. I think, in my opinion, SmackDown can't afford to be bad, seeing that they have that TV deal next year.
Yes.
But with that in mind, this was a good SmackDown. This was a really good SmackDown. Most of the action was really great, apart from really one match, which was the Naomi Peyton Royce match.
Yep.
So I don't really have really massive negatives about SmackDown. It was a solid episode. The only negative I would say is that I didn't really watch all of it start to finish because I was watching a White Sox game.
That's fair. Unlike Raw, I shouldn't say like Raw. I really enjoyed this show while it was happening. It was a very good show, very entertaining. But unlike Raw, looking at it in hindsight, even though I haven't had a day to contemplate it like Raw, in hindsight this was still a good episode. Like I can't fault it. Like it was a legitimate good episode. It wasn't just good moments that made me feel good but don't make any sense. Like this, everything furthered storylines or created new storylines. We didn't mention, but there was a little backstage segment with Shinsuke Nakamura where he said, "Welcome to the United States of Nakamerica," which I think is fantastic. And so he said something about who's going to take out the hero of the United States or something. He's setting up a match. They'll figure something out probably next week. But so I'm glad they're going to set something up with him. Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, they're going to be good. Everything on SmackDown furthered a feud or started a new one. And yeah, it was just a great show. Like I always say, SmackDown was better than Raw, is better than Raw, and it helps that it's shorter, but it's just an overall better product. So that's all the time we have today. Hopefully in the future we can try to keep these shorter, but the whole point of doing these is so that we can talk about wrestling. So it's hard to kind of do a recap while also giving opinions, but I think this is a good length, around an hour. I think this is actually okay. I would like it to be a little shorter, but if this is what it's going to be, I don't mind it at all. So yeah, thank you for listening, and tune in on Friday for some more football predictions. But if you're only here for wrestling, that's fine too. Tune in next Wednesday when we do more Wrestling Wednesday and more recaps of Raw and SmackDown. Connor, take us out.
Hey, you already said best for me. So if you're here listening to this and you've already heard all the different things about social media and whatnot, so I won't drown you out there. What I will say though is, as Kyle said, tune in next week for some more Wrestling Wednesday, and hopefully and mostly I have a better idea of where the hell they're going with the Shield, because I am very confused, and I am very, very thoroughly confused.
Nostalgia, man.
Yeah, nostalgia can only carry me so far until I start to question logic. But we'll get to that point next week. Stay tuned for more football later in the week, guys. See ya.
Southern boys with the promise strength. Ain't nobody man